Good evening, everyone, and welcome to GiGi's Christmas, the first holiday party of the year. It's so exciting to see all the new and familiar faces in the crowd this evening. For those of you who are new to GiGi's Playhouse is a Down Syndrome Achievement Center where we provide free programs to individuals with Down syndrome from the prenatal stage through adulthood. Our mission at GiGi's Playhouse is to change the way the world views Down syndrome by sending a global message of acceptance to all. We do this through our life-changing, free programs that we offer at GiGi's Playhouse.
This is Wade. We call him our little guy. Born 6.5 pounds.
This is our daughter Reese. She's 1 year old, and she is our connection to Down syndrome.
So we learned through Dana's ultrasound visit, I believe it was 13 or 14 weeks. We had an abnormal ultrasound. We started seeing some soft markers for Down syndrome.
And I got his probable diagnosis last December. It was a surprise, and I didn't know anything about Down syndrome.
We didn't know. We had no, and had we had known, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. So when we were in the hospital and he was in the NICU and it was just like one thing after another, and they're like, oh, we're gonna do some testing and we see some abnormalities, so we're gonna have to test him, you know, and then to come back with, so he tested positive for Down syndrome, for trisomy 21, and it was just like, how do you process that?
It was December 2014, December 23rd actually, I remember the date, and I got a phone call from my OBGYN who I was at a Christmas party, and she apologized to me that my son would be born with Down syndrome. You know that moment of tragedy in your life or trauma, and they say it's crystal clear, so for me I could hear the talking, I could see the snow through the blinds. It was like everything stopped in time, and I picked up my son from the party and left, really dangerously driving home. And then I had to wait for my husband to get home and tell him that his life would be forever changed.
It was devastating news at the time, and we were very scared. And as a mother in a pregnancy, it was a very dark period in my life.
2 weeks later, I went to see my OB and find out more about Down syndrome. I'd done some research, learned what I could. I was excited, actually. I had come to that point. And I got to my OB's office, and she said, what do you want to know? And I said, well, do you have any information about Down syndrome? And she said, I'm sorry, the prenatal testing companies don't really provide that. And I said, well, have you had any experience with Down syndrome? And she said, well, unfortunately, the 2 that I delivered in the past 5 years have died at the age of 2. She said their families had really horrible qualities of life. And then she went on to share with me sort of anecdotal experiences she had with Down syndrome. So she talked about aggression during puberty, how they shouldn't be in classrooms and they should be in specialized schools. And I know the whole push now is for inclusion, but that shouldn't be the case. They need this extra help. By the end of this conversation, I was shell-shocked. My husband and I left the office, and we were in grief, we were torn, we were broken, we couldn't believe it.
It was very unfortunate that we spent most of our pregnancy with Reese scared and sad and kind of negative emotions, and it should really be a time of celebration.
And so we spent the next 6 months learning on our own, trying to gather information. I quickly discovered that I wasn't a one-off scenario, but that this was a common situation that was happening to caregivers and women across the nation. And I said to myself, if what she said isn't true, then I was going to spend my life doing all I could to change the discrimination, to change these injustices, these biased opinions. And of course, I had my son, and he was the light of my world.
Honestly, one of the first things I did was seek out social media groups that were in a similar situation as me. And there was a pregnancy with Down syndrome group. And what do you know? This lady named Emily reached out to me personally.
We started working with Dr. McDonald out of Sisters Hospital, and she was actually the one who wrote us a handwritten card and told us to reach out to GiGi's Playhouse.
Told us to reach out to you.
Told us to reach out to you, Emily. And within days, you were in our living room. That's what I tell everyone. You were in our living room. And you were so kind and listened to all of our fears that I was embarrassed to have, quite honestly. And you were so encouraging and supportive, and it was and has been that way since that moment.
When I think back to my pregnancy and how scared I was and the fears that come along with the probable diagnosis of Down syndrome, when you come here, nobody's scared. Nobody's acting out of the normal. Everybody's confident in their babies, and everybody's kind of celebrating their babies. And having that is huge because you get in your head. You get in your head a lot, especially in the beginning. But I'm so happy to have all the families here and just all the reminders that all the babies are important, and not only that, but they're all happy.
It's always been very clear to me that we can't do this on our own. As parents, as advocates, we can't do this on our own. It's not just about Paul, my son. It's about your child, and if your child is discriminated against, if your child can't get a job, if your individual that you love and care about is being discriminated against, that's against Paul. I take it very personally because they're all impacted by the same thing, and so many people go on this journey and they stay in their lane and they do for their child, and they forget that there's a whole community that they could be helping and impacting. And by doing that, you will change everything for your child.
GiGi's Playhouse is such a community. It's such a vital resource for families going through at the beginning stages, in the middle, and the end. Just knowing that it's a safe place. It's a welcoming place. It's a place of love.
All of the services that you guys are working on, employment, integrations in school,
Your staff, the students, the partnerships with the colleges.
like all of those are so important, and your kids are setting that bar for my kid, and you're setting it high, and I am so grateful to be in specifically this Buffalo community, because we're rock stars.
We've had so much success here. When we opened in 2020, we had 3 programs. We now have over 22 programs in place.
The programs are free here, so we don't have to worry about any costs or anything like that. It's not like school, like I have to go through a curriculum. Here we actually get to the interest first and then the professional part.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Cook. I've been working the GG Fit program here.
Oh, he's a great guy. I love to work out, so I love to work out with him.
Look at the smile. she's got the best attitude, so much energy.
It's a really great place.
I've never been in an environment that's so loving and so supportive and so genuine. But I think the biggest thing that everyone, participants, parents, volunteers, interns, really get from GiGi's is community. And I know how beneficial it can be to have people who are here, who can relate to you, who understand you, who are on your side.
I like go work out, I play cards with you, of course. Yeah. Or this right here is Joy's Corner. Joy's Corner is actually my YouTube channel.
In this community, in this world, people don't give them a chance. They judge. They judge by what they hear. They judge by what they see, because Down syndrome is a very visible diagnosis. And they don't take the time to realize that if we can train these folks and if we can work with them, and they have such ability, they have such promise, such talent.
When this one opened in 2019, I started as an intern. Yeah, I used to work at OSHI Children's Hospital. The fact that I work hard and that I have a drive to get things done, I think that goes a long way.
Here at GiGi's Playhouse, we're going to be that megaphone, and we're going to work on those skills on a daily basis, and we're going to give them a safe space to build on those skills.
I always tell my friends is that it's not just for people with Down syndrome, like bring in the rest of the community, because I think it's more about inclusion and including everybody. So bring the other kids. We did music class before he was even born.
As a husband, it's tough to, help her, and that's why I'm indebted to you, because you were able to give her the support that I couldn't. So thank you.
Because of GiGi's Playhouse, Down syndrome is in the news, we're in the media, we're in the newspapers. We have partnerships with local universities. We're working with school districts on inclusion. We've opened a Down syndrome clinic at OSHI, and we are working on impacting legislation across the state of New York that will help to change lives for individuals with Down syndrome. But we could not do this work or continue to do this work without your support. So thank you. Thank you for your giving. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you on behalf of my son, and thank you on behalf of this beautiful community that I serve. We love you.
Okay, one more thing. Subscribe to my channel.